So whenever there is a question in IR, okay, you can talk about the soft power, okay, of India especially, okay, that India is connected with the China. No, it's not necessary that you would be always talking positive regarding the China as a country or as a good partner of India, but because we everyone know what are the challenges that we face from the Chinese trade, right? So but whenever you need to do your answer in a very nuclear way, okay, you can end it very nuclear, that we have ancient ties, we can revive it and consider the peace and prosperity of the Asian continent, है ना? So this is the way you can present all these facts in your answers also, okay? These are very helpful fact. Now the third kind of the sources or the evidence is the epigraphical sources or the evidences. Now this epigraphical sources, now see this plate, okay, this plate is copper plate, okay, copper plate. It is also known as Tamalpatra. Tamalpatra. If you hear it from our local Brahmin people, okay, they majorly talk about this Tamanpatras. Okay, now this Tamanpatras had some of the writings, okay, of that period. Okay, and that is why we come to know major of the names of the donors. Okay, so donors and the donees, donors and the donees, both names are being presented on the Tamalpatras. So here we'll find that the donation, the granting system would be evident during the Gupta period. Now this was being evident during the post-Mauryan period also, or you can say it started rightly from the post-Mauryan period, but it grew in a larger form only during the Gupta period, and this is the evidence that we get from the Gupta period. After that, it is the Allahabad inscription, okay, where there is the evidence of the poet Harisena of that period, who would be talking about the court activities, है ना? So all the activities, or especially the major experiences, he would be narrating in a very praising format. Okay, like as if he is praising the king, he is praising his ministers, he is praising their activities, he is praising their victory. Okay, he's also narrating some of the challenges that they faced during their reign. Okay, so everything Harisena would be having their poets, okay, having his poems during the Samudragupta, okay, during the Samudragupta, and it is only the inscription which talks about the Samudragupta as the Napoleon of India, as the Napoleon of India. Right? Now, the Chandragupta too is being reflected, the polity around the Chandragupta too is reflected in the Mehrauli iron inscription of Delhi. Okay. Now, after that, the Udaygiri caves, especially the cave number 6 and the cave number 8, talks about the Chandragupta II's belief in the culture and the rituals. His beliefs in the culture and the rituals. Fine. Now, after that, you will see that in each of the inscription, you will see that there is a hyperbolic praise of each of the ruler. Okay, whether it is Chandragupta 1, Samudragupta, Chandragupta 2. Okay, and after this, you will also see the usage of the coins. Now the numismatic tells us about the beliefs, about the activities that the kings did. Okay, now this is a coin which talks about the slaying of tiger. Okay, slaying of tiger. Okay, now see this coin. This coins talks about use of horses, and see here again. If you see that Samudragupta is playing Veena, okay, musical instrument. Okay, it is a musical instrument. If you have seen the goddess Saraswati, she plays Veena, right? So same Veena is being played by a Gupta ruler in the court. Okay, so here you will see that from the coins we see that the kings are quite passionate or they are having some or the another kind of hobbies that they are preserving throughout their reign. Okay, so after the numismatic, you can assess that as Gupta period was a period when they would be reviving the Brahmanical faith. Okay, the Brahmanical faith, and that is why they would be following all the rituals and the principles of the Brahmanism. And that is why you will see that the construction of the temples would be taking at a larger scale. And here is the beginning of the temple architecture. Now, it doesn't mean that during the post-Gupta period, post-Mauryan period or the Mauryan period, we didn't have temples. We had temples. But the architecture of the temple rightly started during the Gupta period only. Okay, so here the Gupta period would be the initial period when we would be attending the development of temple architecture. Initial temple architecture, grieve over here. Okay. Okay. So if you see in this diagram, okay, if you see in this diagram or in this image, see how crystal clearly they have built it through the stones. Now, during the Mauryan period, we saw the temples or the Buddhist caves which were cutted in the single rock, if you remember. Now, see the construction of the temple. Now, these are also the stones only. These are also the rocks, but they are cutted in the brick format. Okay, and here we'll see for the first time that the idea of the Garbhagriha, the idea of the Garbhagriha is being initiated. Now, what is Garbhagriha? It is a sanctuary, sanctum. Okay, so like whenever we place God's idol, okay, so that area is the sanctum place. Okay, and that is known as the Garbhagriha in Hindu or in Sanskrit. Okay, so we'll see that the emergence of the Garbhagriha, that is the main temple place, would be taking place during the Gupta period only. Now, after Gupta period, you will see this only temples would be extended with the mandapas, then Pradakshina Patha, okay, and the campuses, the water tanks and whatnot. Okay, but the beginning of the temple architecture is during the Gupta period. Okay, so see, this is the Garbhagriha. Now, that time ka temples had some of the height. Okay, and then they were built. Okay, and they were built only for the single Garbhagriha and not the larger. Okay, after that we'll see during the post-Gupta period or at the end of the initial phase of the Gupta period, you will see that there is an emergence of the larger temple architecture also. Like for example, see in this diagram. Okay, now if you see, this was the previous example which I showed was the Dashavatara temple at the Devgad. Okay, so this temple here, see the image over here. Okay, it is this image. So you will see the Dashavatara. So who is Dashavatara? Okay, he is the form of Lord Vishnu, right? He is the form of Lord Vishnu. Am I right? He is the form of Lord Vishnu. Okay, and Dashavatara is considered as one of the form of the Lord Vishnu. So what is Dashavatara? Having the 10 faces to a single Lord. That is Dashavatara. Okay, so Dashavatara. Okay, again see the snakes. Okay, snakes. After that, see the elephants. Okay, see the Buddhist image again. So this is the mixture of Hinduism, Buddhism, and see the warriors over here. See their families also. Okay, so everything depicts around. Now see the hairs of this again. Hairs of this warriors, hairs of this people are rounded. Okay, they are rounded. Again, you will see the Roman Greek influence on our art and artifacts. Okay, so this is what we see during the initial phase. Now this is initial phase of Gupta Empire. Now in the mature phase of the Gupta Empire, you will see the construction of the temple that is carried out up till the Mandapa. Okay, mandapa. What is mandapa? Mandapa is the open space which is used by the devotees to sit and have a meeting. Okay, so this temples were considered as one of the place where the people will be having, village peoples will be having the meetings. Okay, whether it is monthly meeting, whether it is weekly meeting, but they will gather and they will discuss, or they will be having the panchayats over in this temples. Okay, so the temples were considered as the central point of contact for the villages. Now, for example, if in present date, if you have any issue in your village, okay, where do you go? You go in the police station, or if there is any civil issue, then you will go in the tehsil, okay, in taluka level, at taluka level. So here you will see that the temple was considered as a center where the villagers will come and exchange their ideas or talk about all their issues, okay, which they are facing, whatever kind of issues, criminal, civil, both kind of, okay. And the judgments or the judicial system was being considered right from these temples only, okay. Like the head of the village or the head of that particular block, like what we see during the Gupta period, there were Vishyas, okay, there was the district places were known as the Vishyas, and the one who head was the Vishyapati, right? The one who head was the Vishyapati. Or if we have the Grams, okay, we had Grams, and who was the head? Gramini, right? Now, if the meeting is being held in the village, the Gramini would be having the judgment or the nyay in this place, okay. And if it is Vishya, then the Vishyapati would be having the judgment rights and the powers over this time, okay, or over this all kind of issues, okay. So see, this is the Ayhole Durga temple. So this is Durga temple. Okay, now in this Dashavatara temple, you will also have the evidences of Shiva. Okay, you will also have the evidences of Shiva. You will also have the evidences of Vishnu. Okay, and you will also have the evidences of Buddha. Okay, so this is the mixture. Again, you will see that the lady goddess was being also worshipped in the later or the mature stage of the Gupta period. Now this is the Ayhole Durga temple, presently situated in Karnataka. Okay, in Karnataka. Okay. So here you will see more number of sculptures are being carved out on the pillars. So they are still standing strong in the present date. Okay, if you see the animals, okay, now this is again one god, okay, and he's sitting on some of the animal, okay. So see the development of this temple structure, see the layers, okay, see the pillars. So the development of Pradakshina Path, development of the Mandapa, development of the around campus was done during the Chalukyas, that is after or during after the post Gupta period. Okay, so this was the development of art and architecture. Secondly, we have also discussed about the major sources that are evident of the Gupta period. Now in the next lecture, we would be observing the administration, the provincial administration as well as the central administration of the Gupta period. Although we have completed the general perspective of the Gupta period, but it is very necessary that to have the exam perspective, we need to go in depth. Because if you see the 2022-2023 ka papers, the UPSC is asking very in-depth questions or the factual kind of questions if we see the ancient India ka questions. Okay, so let's meet in the next session, that is the provincial and the local administration during the Gupta period. Fine, thank you.